Yo, what's going on, guys? Trey back again here to bring you another video. This one's going to be a review for The Walking Dead issue 96. This is the last part in the issue story arc, A Larger World. This will be the conclusion of A Larger World. So, in terms of a conclusion of an arc. It wasn't really as exciting of a issue as the last issue. I mean, the last issue, of course. By the way, this will contain spoilers. We got to see a really cool scene there where Rick ends up killing this Ethan guy, and we sort of find out in this episode or this issue why that all came about, what happened with that, and basically we find out that the Hilltop, which is the big group that has about 200 people in it, essentially are able to produce their own food with a farm, this kind of stuff. But they're kind of weak in terms of self-defense. Like they just don't have the means to defend themselves against groups from the outside. So you have this other group that Jesus explains, led by this guy named Negan, who's basically as a trade-off, has talked Gregory, the leader of the Hilltop, into giving them as much supplies as he wants, pretty much. So all the food he could want, everything, all the stuff he wants, in order for him to protect them, so to speak. Now, at the beginning, it seems like it was mostly from walkers on the outside of the Hilltop, just keeping the area clean of walkers so there weren't really many zombies anywhere near them. In exchange, the Hilltop would provide him with all kinds of food and stuff, his group with all kinds of food and stuff. But pretty much lately, it seems, between that agreement, this Negan guy has kind of gotten a little crazier, and he has just taken things overboard. He kept the girl and sent this Ethan guy back to the Hilltop and said, you go kill Gregory, who's the leader of the Hilltop, then, you can have your girl back or whatever. And of course, Rick was there and he was able to stop him and kill him. Otherwise, that guy might have been able to kill Gregory, the leader of the group, and this Negan guy may have moved into the city, or into the Hilltop in their little town. So this Negan guy sounds like a really cool villain, so to speak. The leader of the Hilltop, Gregory, I can imagine him dying off pretty quick. I don't know if he'll survive too long. I look at him sort of like as Douglas from earlier in the group, where he just kind of like was the leader, but as soon as Rick moved in, he either died off or something happened or whatever, and he just saw that Rick is a better leader all around because Rick has been through more, and he's so well rounded. He's able to get supplies and keep the people fed and do all this kind of stuff, which he's been doing all along. Plus, he knows how to defend the group because he's lost battles before, and sometimes you learn more from your losses than your victories. So Rick knows exactly what to do. So very interesting stuff to hear what's going to happen with this. It looks like pretty much Rick is going to strike up a deal with Douglas and the Hilltop, get rid of this guy who has been basically providing protection for the city, in exchange taking their stuff and has kind of lost it. Get rid of these guys, and pretty much the Hilltop will then allow Rick to get as many supplies as he needs or whatever. But there's so many unknowns about this Negan character. Like, we just don't know, how many people are going to be in his group. Like, his group could be big, it could be small. Like, they don't even know. They hinted at, too, like, how do you know this isn't like just a couple guys? Like, it really could be just like 5 guys or 3 guys or something. Like, who knows? There's really no way to know for sure. I guess we'd assume, if I had to guess at it, I'd say we're probably looking at a group of maybe like 20 guys, maybe no women. Maybe that's why he kept that girl. Maybe just no women at all. Maybe 10 guys. I mean, it's really hard to say. I mean, the Hilltop has like 200 people in it. Rick's group right now, how many people are in it right now? I mean, I don't know. There's got to be at least 30, maybe 50, something like that. I forget exactly if they ever mentioned it. But there's a good number of guys. Like, if they got a good group together, they could probably get together maybe 10, 20 people with guns to fight. Probably about 20 per se. But then if they took that, then they wouldn't be able to leave any there stationed at their home town to protect it. Really, there wouldn't be hardly anybody there, so they couldn't take everybody out. But it'll just be really exciting to hear what happens with this group. I think when you look at the first 100 issues of The Walking Dead, because we're pretty much at 100 now, the most exciting part of the whole thing has to be when it all goes down between the governor's group and Rick's group. Rick being at the prison, but right before they left, and the governor's group from Woodbury. I think that's the most exciting stuff because, zombies, like, yeah, the zombies are interesting, they're exciting, and when a herd comes through, it's something really cool. But I think the heart of it is really getting to see these other groups of characters out there, and I think that this is just brilliant writing on Kirkman's part to have like not only just introduce one group, but have a group that you think maybe is dangerous. Nope, they're not. They're good guys, and they're weak essentially in terms of self-defense. They can't defend themselves. They've got like spears and shit at their wall, like they have no guns. It looks like maybe they do. It just doesn't look like it. They've got like spears and shit, and they just like they're like ordinary people for like in the real world. Like they have like no, like they just stand there. Like when their leader is getting attacked with a knife, everybody just freezes and stands there. So really exciting stuff to see. Can't wait to see the next story arc and what happens with it. Can't wait to see. It looks like probably we're going to see Rick get together a group of 10 or 20 people, and go out after this guy and get this Negan guy. So we're probably going to see at least one death. I know like a lot of people, I talked about the cover for issue 100 and it looking like possibly Andrea's on the cover. A lot of people are saying, no, that's Amy. It could be. I mean, I like Charlie Adler's artwork is great, but sometimes it's a little hard to tell. Like when Carl got shot through the eye, everybody was saying, well, there's no way someone could survive that, and then he survives after. And apparently, what happened was Robert Kirkman wanted to have him put a shot through, but he put it like Charlie put it too far in, so that it looked like it went like right through his brain matter. So maybe it's one of those type of things. Like it's supposed to be Amy, but it looks like Andrea because he hasn't drawn Amy for ever. Oh wait, did he ever draw Amy? Maybe he didn't because Tony Moore might have been the one who drew Amy. I forget what issue she died in. It was in the first trade paperback. So yeah, he's actually never really drawn her before, at least as far as I can remember. So it's kind of hard to say whether or not that's supposed to be Andrea, if she's going to die coming up pretty soon. It sure looks like it with the foreshadowing. Like in this issue, we get to see like a different side of Rick that we're not used to seeing. After he gets, basically he goes for a walk at night and he sees the cremation going on of the guy he killed in self-defense, Ethan, and some guy there, like some bigger guy, punches him in the eye, like a sucker punches him in the eye. And just saying you don't have any right to be here and this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, he was defending himself. Like, what are you gonna do? But people grow attached to those who live near them. An outsider comes in, and they're like, like to outsiders, they don't know them, they don't trust them. They feel like they know this person and they care about this person, so they build that relationship. And then if something happens, yeah, I can see him getting mad and punching the guy, the outsider, so to speak. So that was cool. Cool little scene. We get to see a different side of Rick with him and Andrea. After that, next day, he like walks up and grabs her and kisses her on the cheek and stuff. It's just such like it's just a comic book page, but it's such like a weird scene. Like Glenn is there in the scene and she's there and the way he looks. It's just a really, I like it. I like the scene. I thought it was really, really cool. A really, really cool page and good artwork and everything. And just, their emotions and stuff. Charlie Adler is a monster at drawing faces and emotions in comic books because that is something that's really hard to do. A lot of criticisms with comic book artists will be that a lot of their characters all look the same and their faces look the same and stuff. Charlie Adler, I guess probably through doing The Walking Dead for 10 years or however long it's been, got to be getting close to that now, has just gotten great at drawing different emotions of people's faces, because you see it and you're like, wow, you can so picture that from the characters from the TV show or whatever. Anyway, I love that that little scene there. And again, is that foreshadowing? Because every time Rick hooks up with somebody, they die. So, like that last girl, I don't even remember her name now. Jeez, what was it? I can't even remember. I have to look back to the girl from Alexandria that he was with and her son and before they died on No Way Out, the storyline. So that was really, really cool. And then, of course, at the end, we get Rick's little speech of why he feels like he's the leader, which is cool because we never really heard him talk too much about that. Is it because he's a police officer? And he says, I was never really that good of a police officer. And that's kind of interesting because I always pictured in my mind Rick being a great police officer. I think it would be awesome. But then again, if you think about it, he did get shot. So I guess he wasn't really that good. I mean, he did get himself shot. It can happen to anybody, but he says he wasn't that good of a police officer. So that's an interesting way of looking at it. I always thought he was like a great police officer before all this happened. In my mind, they never stated that, but in my mind, I kind of thought that. And then, of course, we get to see him explain that basically it's because of the way he sees things that makes him a great leader versus the way other people see things. Like he sees opportunity and hope and this kind of stuff, and you know, and they're gonna. It looks like he wants to go for it. The others don't seem like Andrea, Michonne, and Glenn. They don't seem to want to be involved in this because of the war with the governor and stuff. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, hopefully they sort of do some reconnaissance first to find out, you know, what this Negan group is like. Like maybe get in a building around somewhere there or a house somewhere and just go on a stakeout. Send a couple people in for like a stakeout in like a week, you know, and just stay in the area until Negan comes, so you can kind of get a feel for how many people this guy has. Because, I mean, it could be any number. It could be 5, 10. It could be 20 or 30, you know, or 50. Like, that would be horrible. I don't think it's 50, but if it's 20 or 30, that would be really hard for the group to deal with. I mean, if you get Andrew up there sniping guys, I guess it'd be good, but you could do it pretty without any casualties. But you'd have to get, you know, it'd have to be sort of like a sneak attack, a setup. You'd have to have Andrea up top, you know, sniping guys off. You'd have to have, like, you know, you'd have to ambush them basically from behind and take them all down. It'd be tough to do if there's more than 10 guys without having any casualties. So we'll see what happens. Really exciting, though. Definitely crazy exciting stuff. I'm really looking forward to see what happens with this group, with both of these two new groups and everything, and see maybe if Rick's going to want to move the group to the hilltop, because I mean it's a cool place. Like, you know, you've got this whole like you know, hill, and then it's at the top and it's buried up. So like walkers, they might not go up the hill like that. Like they might just go around, and even if they're just roaming, just go around, like never walk up. They might not have the strength to walk up, you know, like things like that. So just little things to think about. Overall, I thought it was a really good episode in terms of what it's going to do for the future. Like the setup to the next arc, and to the bigger, not just arc, but you know, maybe the next few trade paperbacks, like 4 or 5 trade paperbacks, I can imagine being extremely exciting. Getting to see, you know, this Negan character and what he's all about. Maybe he can give the governor a run for his money in terms of just how, you know, evil he is and the stuff that happens with him. I'm really, really excited to see it. I just can't wait to see it. In terms of a score for this issue, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a good issue. It wasn't an issue that had that much like action or excitement in it, but it didn't need it, because it you know, it got me excited just for the future of the comic book. Because, you know, I think that even though the Walking Dead's had like 100 issues, it's still fairly young compared to a lot of comic books, and I think that it has an opportunity to really, you know, expand even further and become even greater. And I think that this next story arc for the Kirkman's been writing is just genius, man. Everything about it is great, and I can't wait to see how this all turns out. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about The Walking Dead issue 96. I freaking loved it. Later, guys. Peace.